Hi everyone, we are here to present a report on movement enhancement, which is part of our PathFit 1 course. Movement enhancement is all about improving how our body moves, making our muscles, bones and joints work together efficiently for better performance in sports, fitness, and daily life. In this presentation, we'll talk about the skeletal system, the muscular system, and how both systems work together to create movement.
The skeletal system. Could you imagine body without bones? It would have no shape and could not stand upright. Vital organs would be almost vitally unprotected and motor movement would be impossible. Without our skeletal muscles, our bodies would have no framework. Our delicate organs would be unprotected and we would be unable to move. Bone or osseous tissue is a hard dense connected tissue that forms most of the adult skeleton, the support structure of the body. The skeletal system is the body system composed of bones and cartilage and perform the following critical function of the human body. First, it's protect our delicate organs that need protection. A. The skull protects the brain. B. The vertebral column protects the spinal cord. C. The rib cage protects the heart and lungs. Second, it supports our body that needs a framework. A. The skeleton gives shape to our bodies. B. It holds the vital organs in place. C. It enables us to achieve a good posture. Next, it moves our muscles, use our bones to cause movement. A. The skeletons provide attachment for the muscles. B. The skeleton is joined, which allow the wide range of movement. C. Different joints allow different type of movement. Lastly, it's produce blood red and white blood cells are produced in the bone marrow of the ribs, humerus, vertebrae, and femur.
Types of bones. Did you know that the 206 bones that compose in the adult skeleton are divided into categories based on their shapes? Their shapes and their functions are related, such as each categorical shape of bone has a distinct function. First, here we have the long bones. It is long bone that is cylindrical in shape, being longer than it is wide. Long bones are found in the arms like humerus, ulna, radius, and legs, femur, tibia, fibula, as well as in the fingers, metacarpals, phalanges, and toes, metatarsals, phalanges. We use them in the main movements of our body. Long bones work levers, they move when muscles contact. Second, the short bones, it is short bone that is tube-like in shape, being approximately equal in length, width, and thickness. The only short bones in the human skeleton are the carpals in the wrist and metatarsals of the ankles. We use them in fine movements of our body. Short bones can provide stability and support and of some limited motion. Thirdly, we have the flat bones. A flat bone is typically thin. It is also often curved. Example include the cranial, skull bones, scapulae, shoulder blades, the sternum, breastbone, and the ribs. We use them to protect the organs of our body. Flat bones will serve as points of attachment for muscles and often protect internal organs. Fourth, we have here the irregular bones. It is an irregular bones that does not have any easily characterized shape and therefore does not fit any other classification. These bones tend to have more complex shape, like the vertebrae that support the spinal cord and protect it from compressive force. We use them to give our body protect and shape. many facial bones, particularly the ones containing sinuses, are classified as irregular bones. Lastly, we have the sigmoid bones. The sigmoid bone is a small round bone that, as the name suggests, is the shape like a shim seed. This bone forms in a tendon, the stealth of tissue that connect bones to muscle, where the great deal of pressure is generated in a joint. These bones protect tendons by helping them overcome compressive force. This vary in number and placement from person to person, but typically found in tendons associated with the fitness. The patellae are the only sesamoid bones found in a common with every person.
Bone classification. There we have the bone classification. Their features, functions, and examples. First, we have the long bones, like a femur, tibia, and the humerus. They act as lever for movements. Second, we have the short bones, cube-like bones such as carpals and tarsals, that provides stability and support. Then we have the flat bones, like sternum, ribs, and scapula. These protect organs and provide attachment points for muscles. Next, we have the irregular bones, such as vertebrae, which protect the spine cord and support the body framework. And lastly, we have the sesamoid bones, small round bones like the patella that reduce frictions in joints. The shoulder girdle is made up to 2 clavicles and 2 scapulas. It is linked by muscle to our vertebral column. This gives us great flexibility in our shoulder and arms. The second part is the arms. The arms that has the humerus, radius, and ulna. There are 8 carpal bones in wrist, 5 metacarpal bones in the hand, and 14 phalanges in the hand. Then here we have the hip girdle. It is made up to 2 hard, each formed by 3 bones which are fused together in each side. It is also support the lower abdomen and provide a strong joint for the femur. Lastly, we have the legs. The legs have the femur, tibia, and fibula. There are 7 tarsals in each foot, 5 tarsals in the foot, and 14 phalanges in each foot. Now, let's talk about the exoskeleton and its corresponding part. First, we have the skull. The skull is made up of 28 bones. There were also 4 bones in the face and 6 in the ear. It is fused together in early childhood. It protects the brain, eye, and ears. Second part, it is sternum. The sternum is a large, flat bone and at the front of the rib cage. It helps make the rib cage stronger. Last is the ribs. The ribs is made up of 12 pairs of joined to vertebral column. 7 pairs are joined to the sternum. 3 pairs are joined to the 7th ribs. False ribs. 2 ribs are untouched, and the rib cage protect our lungs and heart.
Parts of skeletal system: skull, collarbone, scapula, sternum, ribs, funny bone, vertebrae, ossal bone or hip, ulna, radius, carpal bones or wrist, metacarpal bones, fingers, femur, kneecap, tibia, fibula, dorsal bones or ankle, metatarsal bones, toes. We move. The skeleton has many joints. A joint, also called articulation, is any place where adjustment bones or bone are cartilage come together articulate with each other. To form a connection, there are two classifications of joints, structurally and functionally. Structural classification of joints take into account whether the adjacent bones are strongly anchored to each other by fibrous connective tissue or cartilage, or whether the adjacent bones articulate with each other within a fluid-filled space called a joint cavity. Functional classification describes the degree of movement available between the bones, ranging movable, slightly mobile, to freely movable joints. The amount of movement available at a particular joint of the body is related to the functional requirements for the joint. Those immobile or slightly movable. Let's talk about immovable joints. It's a formulation of two bones that have been fused together. Such joints are capable of movement by muscular force. For all practical purposes, they could as well not exist, except that they deserve a protective function. Slight movement may occur in the joints, resulting a cushioning effect when external force is applied. For example, if a blow is struck on the head, then immovable joints of the cranial permit side movement. Then we have a slightly movable joints. These joints are not firmly fixed as are immovable joints, but the structure of bones and connective tissues in the around the joints restricts the range of motion to only a few degrees. Example of slightly movable joints are those located in the spine. It is also found between the sacrum and ilia, and from the back attachment of the ribs. Lastly, we have the free movable joints. These joints have a comparatively large of movement and are prime importance in motor performance. They are located in the upper and lower extremities. Examples of freely movable joints are the shoulder, elbow, wrist, hip, and knee joints. Here we have the joints and sports. When we have skilled sporting movements, our different joints work smoothly together. In order to work well, they must be capable of full range of movement. To give stability to the joint, the muscle engagements surrounding each joint must be strong enough. The demands of sport place serve stress on our joints. We must warm up thoroughly before acting. We should cool down. Afterwards, joint can be injured as a resulting of impact, internal forces, or a mixture of both. Common examples include sprained ankle, torn knee, ligaments, and dislocated shoulder.
Planes of the body. Let's now move on to the planes of the body. We have three planes of the body, namely the sagittal plane, the coronal plane, and the transverse plane. Let's talk about the sagittal plane. The sagittal plane is a vertical plane extending in an posterior direction, dividing the body into right and left parts, effectively the forward and backward plane. A sagittal plane is any plane parallel to the median plane. Second, we have the coronal plane or frontal plane. It's a vertical plane at right angles to the sagittal plane that divides the body into anterior, front, and posterior back portions, effectively the side movement plane. And lastly, we have the transverse plane. Is a horizontal cross-section dividing the body into upper and lower sections and lies at right angles to the other two planes, effectively the rotational movement plane. Now let's move to the 20 kinds of joints movements. First 5. Here we have the flexion. This movement of a segment of the body causing decrease in the angle of the point. 2. Lateral flexion is bending sideways, and it can occur the both right and left. 3. Horizontal flexion is a body segment flexes through the horizontal plane. 4. Dorsiflex. Dorsal flex is when the ankle is flexed, causing the top of the foot to draw closer to tibia. 5. Plantar flexion, actual extension, is the opposite movement at the ankle. Then we have the number 6, extension straightening is movement in the opposite direction of flexion. 7. Horizontal extension, horizontal abduction, occurs when the body segment extends through the horizontal plane. 8. Hyperextension is extension of a body segment to a position beyond its normal extended position. 9. Abduction is movement of a body segment in the lateral plane, away from the midline of the body. 10. Adduction is movement of the body segment toward the sideline. And then we have the number 11. Rotation is a movement of a segment around its own longitudinal axis. 12. Pronation is rotation of the hand and forearm downward, resulting in a palm down position. 13. Supination is rotation of the hand and forearm upward, resulting in a palm up position. 14. Inversion is rotating of the foot, turning the whole inward. 15. Inversion is rotation of the foot, turning the sole outward. 16. Circumduction is a circular or cone-like movement of a body segment. 17. Elevation is when the shoulder is lifted upward as in shrugging the shoulders. 18. Depression is when lowering of the shoulder girdle. 19. Protraction. Abduction is movement of the shoulder girdle away from the midline body. 20. Retraction. Adduction is movement of the shoulder girdle toward the midline of the body.
Skeletal system and sports. The whole skeletal system, including bones, joints, ligament, cartilage, and tendons, contribute to sport performance. Bones protect the body's organs which may have otherwise been damaged due to contact and force which is involved in most sports. The function of the skeletal in sport is also to provide the rigidity and structure to the body, we as providing strength to the body. Let's talk about the muscular system. All our movements happen as a result of the shortening, contracting, and tightening. Extending of the muscle, our muscle can first enable us to move our body parts. Second, give us our own individual shape. Third, protect and keep in play our abdominal organs. Fourth, enable us to maintain a good posture. Fifth, help in a circulation of our blood. And lastly, is generate body heat when they contract. There are over 600 skeletal muscles in the body, 150 in the head and neck. What are the type of muscles tissue? Muscles is the tissue that allows us for active movement of our body of the materials within our body. There are three types of muscular tissue: skeletal muscles, cardiac muscles, and smooth muscles. Most of our body skeletal muscles produce movement by acting of the skeleton. The first muscle tissue we have is the skeletal or voluntary muscles work as we instruct them. They are under our control. They are make our bodies move. We use them for everyday and sporting activities such as walking, running, and jumping. Second, we have the smooth muscles. Smooth of voluntary muscles work automatically. They are not under our internal organs, such as the stomach, and bladder. Lastly, we have the cardiac muscles. Cardiac of heart muscles is a very special type of involuntary muscles. It is found only the heart. It's contract regularly, continuously, and without tiring. It's work automatically, but is under constant nervous and chemical control.
What are the main parts of muscle? Deltoid. Number 1, move the arm in all direction at the shoulder. Number 2, example rolling in cricket. Triceps. Extend the forearm at the elbow. Number 2, extend the arm at the shoulder. Number 3, example a smash in badminton. Hamstring. Number 1, extend the hip joint. Number 2, flex the knee joint. Number 3, example, drawing the leg back folder, kicking back. Trapezoid. Number 1, help to control the shoulder girdle. Number 2, example, a player holding his head up rugby scrum. Simus doors. Number 1, adduct and extend the arm at the shoulder. Number 2, example, swimming the butterfly stroke. Gluteals. Number 1, abduct and extend the hip joint. Number 2, example, stepping up joint, rock climbing. Biceps. Number 1, flex the forearm in the elbow. Number 2, example, drawing a bow in archery. Abdominals. Number 1, rotate and raise the trunk. Number 2, strengthen the abdominal wall. Number 3, help with breathing. Number 4, example, performing a forward circles into a bar gymnastics. Pectorals. Number 1, adduct the arm and shoulder. Number 2, use for deep breathing. Number 3, example, playing a forehead drive in tennis. Quadriceps. 1, flexing a hip joint. Number 2, extend the knee joint. Number 3, example, taking off in high jump. Major muscle groups of the human body. Trapezoid straps, deltoid, triceps, gluteals, hamstring, calf muscles, Achilles tendons. Trapezoid straps, deltoids, delt, pectorals, pecs. Biceps, oblique abdominals, rectus, abdominals, abs. Quadriceps. So how do our muscles work? Our muscles can work in different ways. There are 3 main types of muscular contraction. Number 1, isotonic and concentric. Number 2, isotonic and eccentric. Number 3, isometric. The term in muscle contraction refers to the development of tension within the muscle. There are 3 main types. Number 1, isometric or static contraction. The muscles develop tension with no change in overall muscle length, as when holding dumbbell stationary is a curl. Number 2, in a concentric contraction, the muscle shortens as the tension in develop as when a dumbbell in raised, then a bicep curl. Number 3, in eccentric contraction, the muscle develops tension while it lengthens, as in the lowering movement in a bicep curl. Both concentric and eccentric contraction can theoretically can be at constant tension, isotonic, or constant speed, isokinetic. However, most contraction normally involve neither constant tension nor constant speed.
So what happens to our muscular system as we exercise? 1. There is an increased flow of blood to the working muscles. 2. Muscles take up more of the oxygen from the blood. 3. The muscles contract more often and more quickly. 4. More of the muscle fibers contract. 5. There is a rise in temperature in the muscles. 6. Our stores of adiposine, thermophosphate or ATP, and creatine phosphate or CP in the muscle are used up. 7. Waste products such as carbon dioxide and lactic acid build up in the muscle. 8. These waste products may lead to tiredness and cramp, muscle fatigue. 9. Our stores of muscle glucose are used up. 10. Overuse of muscle can lead to soreness and strains. Then here we have the rule of muscle. Our muscle can only contract or relax. And under normal conditions, contractions result only from a series of nerve impulses. Our muscle may contract fully or partially with maximum force or less. Our muscle may contract isometrically or isotonically, singly in our instances or as member of a group, because muscle can contract in these different ways. They have the ability to act in different roles and to change quickly from one role to another. Agonist, primary mover. A muscle in a mover in its concentration contributes to thunder-side movement of the segment of the body. For instance, in flexion at the elbow, the bicep brach is a mover antagonist. A muscle in antagonistic to a movement when it must relax to allow the movement to occur. Antagonist muscle cause actions opposite those caused by the agonist muscles. For instance, in performing triceps extension exercise, the antagonist muscle is the biceps.
Agonist and antagonist skeletal muscle pair.
Start.
Agonist, bicep branch, in the interior compartment of the arm. Hamstring, group of 3 muscles in the posterior compartment of the thigh. Flexor digitorum superficialis and flexor digitorum profundus in the interior compartment of the forearm.
Start.
Antagonist, tricep branch, in the posterior compartment of the arm. Quadriceps femoris, group of 4 muscles in the interior compartment of the thigh. Extensor digitorum, in the posterior compartment of the forearm.
Start.
The bicep branch flexes the forearm wrist and triceps branch extend it. The hamstring flexes the leg, wherein the quadriceps femoris extended. The flexor digitorum superficial and the flexor digitorum profundus flex the finger and the hand at the wrist, whereas the extensor digitorum extend the finger and the hand at the wrist.
Start.
Stabilizer, fixator. In order for segment of the body to move, the body part on which the segment move must process the right amount of stability. The instance when the arm moves at the shoulder joint, the shoulder girdle must be held firm by the contractions of certain muscles which are attached to it.
Start.
Neutralizer. A muscle plays a role neutralizer when it squeezes or
Start.
neutralizer. A muscle plays the role of neutralizer when it equalizes or nullifies one or more actions of another muscle. To neutralize each other, 2 muscles must be cause opposite movement. For instance, the pectoralis major of the latissimus dorsi muscles are both moved in adduction of the humerus. In addition, the pectoralis major flexes the humerus while the latissimus dorsi extended. When the 2 muscles neutralize each other, function of flexion and extension, the result is pure adduction.